Hey, Richard back here for the Texas Takeaways. So, had a call with John this morning. John is in a situation where he's really busy at the moment now, which is great, really busy. He gets a dream client turn up, but this dream client could be a right royal pain in the butt. So he says, what do I do? It could potentially be a great project because it would lead to others, but this guy is a know-it-all. So I said, all right, here's what we can do. I said, because you don't care whether you win or lose this project, you can run this project actually how you should run all your projects, and you can do it fearlessly because you really don't care. So I said, what I want you to do is I want you to come up with John's rules of the road. Okay? The rules of the road. And these are the things it's almost like your terms and conditions that you send to a client before you even engage in anything, give them proposals and spend any time at all. They kind of sign your terms of agreement. And I picked up this from a recruitment client. He used to go, before he went to a meetings with a client, he would send them their terms and agreement and say, sign this. Once you've signed it, we'll have our meeting and we'll go and discuss, any opportunities we have. But his point was, there's no point doing proposals and anything if they don't sign your terms and conditions. So I'm not necessarily talking about terms and conditions of the contract. I'm talking about the rules of the road, the terms and conditions for how you two will operate with each other. So we went through with John, here's all the stipulations what are the stipulations that you want to have when you're working with a client? And I'm talking about training the client to be well behaved. If they delay you, then you're allowed to delay the project. If this happens, then that. If this, then that. They must do this. They must do that. They must do that. And really lay it out in your rules of the road what has to happen for you to accept them before you even consider giving them a proposal, right? And then they agree to it. They sign it. This pain in the butt client has to sign it in advance. And then John can always go back and say, hey, rules of the road, you're not going to do that, remember? And the guy has to stick to it because he's initialed it, right? These are my conditions for working. So these are kind of all your pain in the butt type things. You list them on here and tell people what they have to do. So that's it, right? You should have your rules of the road. Now, how do you sell this rules of the road? Because it makes it sound like, oh, Richard, you're telling me to just go out there and be a bossy architect and tell people what to do. No, that's not what well, yes, I am. But for their benefit. So how you position this document is you say, listen, my job is to find out what you want and then deliver what you want on time and on budget. And here's one of the biggest issues with delivering projects on time and on budget. You, the client, because you don't do these projects all the time. So the biggest risk to any project is you, the client. So here's my rules of the road, and these have to be adhered to because my job is to deliver your project, the best possible project on time and on budget, and I can't let you get in the way. People love that because they see that you are protecting their best interests, right? You're protecting the whole project. You may have to step on their toes at times, and you even have in there, listen, if I have to tell you off or if I have to straight you out, here's what we'll do and how I'll do it. And they sign that, right? How about that? Right? And look, the beauty is because John doesn't want this. He wants the project, but he doesn't want it. He's busy. He can put this out there and not care and see what happens. Okay, so I would say to you, pick a project where you don't care what happens, come up with your rules of the road, hand it to them to sign in advance before you do anything. Here's how I operate, run through this, let's just run through this, and they initial it and agree to it, and then you'll go and spend some time and effort on, finding out what it costs to do their project and stuff like that. There you go the Longhorns.